Honorable Guide is present. Please take the front row.
And the High Court judges.
Honorable Guides and the High Court judges. My lords and honorable guides, please first take the first row. My lords, please. Prepare your elders. May I begin by recognizing the presence of my lord, Honorable Justice Musa Ahmed, Icon of Justice Kano State. I know you are welcome. May I also recognize the presence of Nancy, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Nancy, you are welcome. May I also recognize the presence of Yahaya Tangana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Nancy, you are welcome. May I also recognize the presence of Lanet who is one of our panelists for tomorrow's session, Prof. Adam Muhammad Abubakar. Thank you. Without much ado, may I invite Honorable Kadi Hafiz Sharif Tahir, Kadi Yoga State, for the opening prayer for this session. Thank you. Honorable Sir, come forward. Thank you, sir.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلاة على النبي. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ونسأل سورة يعني إذا جاء نصر الله سورة النصر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون. aka Saddam, Dr. Saddam, to grace this occasion with recitation from the Lord's Quran.
Assalamu alaikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا خالدين فيها لا يبغون عنها حولا قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفد البحر وأن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا قل إنما أنا بشر مثلكم يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا
صدق الله العظيم.
Attention, please. May I? Okay. Jazakumullahu bi khair. May I recognize the presence of Honorable Gadi Nasir Muhammad? You are welcome, my Lord. May I also recognize the presence of Honorable Gadi Yaba Muhammad from Niger State. May I also recognize the presence of Prof. Ibrahim Abdullahi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria from Sokoto State. I deliberately refuse to recognize the presence of my Lord because my Lord is the chairman for the panel session. My Lord, Honorable Justice Nasir Sali, will be representing Honorable Justice Adimu for the panel session. He is the chairman. So, my Lord, pardon me. We'll come to that, my Lord. Thank you.
It has been observed that the space is reserved for our mothers. Some of our fathers have taken some of the space, so I've been requested to request the honor of our fathers to kindly please join our fathers on this side for the purpose of our women to have more convenient atmospheric conditions to listen to the lecture. And we also acknowledge the presence of the pioneer president of this association, the former Attorney General of Bauchi State, in person of Alhaji Ibrahim Umar. Sir, you are welcome. Considering the time constraints, as has been announced by my OMC, may I most respectfully invite the chairman of this very important occasion to the high table, Honorable Justice Nasir Saminu, who is stepping into the shoes of Honorable Justice Habib Adewale Abiu, Justice of the Supreme Court. At-Takbir for Honorable Justice Nasir Saminu. At-Takbir. At-Takbir. My Lord, you are welcome. Alaikum Assalam. Yes. Yes, the topic of presentation is legal regulation of the halal industry in Nigeria, opportunities and challenges. Presenter, Prof. Kamal Dawood, Faculty of Law, University of Maiduguri. Prof. Kamal, may I respectfully invite Prof. Kamal to come to the high table. At-Takbir for Prof. Kamal. At-Takbir. Now, the next person to be invited to the high table is Professor Abdul Qadir Ibrahim Abika. At-Takbir, past presidents. One association and past president. Prof, you are most welcome. Thank you. Yes, sir. Prof. Abika is the Director General, Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, Abuja. Now the mantle will now be handed over, the mic will now be handed over to the chairman of this very important occasion for his remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalam ala khair khalqillah Muhammad bin Abdullah salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I greet you in the best form of greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. As you might have heard from the MC, I'm here by accident, in the sense that it was yesterday around 5:30, I was called by Lana Silk, Mr. Katu, that His Lordship, Honorable Justice Habib Adewale Abiru, Justice of the Supreme Court, is having a tight schedule and will not be able to attend this program. So I was drafted to stand in for him. And you know how difficult it is for me to hold the brief of Honorable Justice Habib Adewale Abiru of the Justice of the Supreme Court. Even though I was ambushed, but I feel honored and it's a privilege to be called upon to interact with my learned colleagues in this August occasion. I thank Allah for this, Alhamdulillah. I thank you all for participating in this program. I forgot to tell you that he asked me to extend his apology for not being here, Mr. Justice Habib Adewale Abiru. The topic of discussion today is legal regulation of the halal industry in Nigeria, opportunities and challenges. And we have able discussants. We have the presenter, Dr. Kamal, and the paper will be followed by discussion by Professor Abikon. I believe the two gentlemen will give justice to the paper. However, before I call upon Mr. Dr. Kamal to take the podium, I would like to state that halal industry globally is concerned with the production, certification, marketing, and trade of products and services in compliance with Islamic law. The industry has grown into one of the world's largest economic sector, serving both Muslims and many non-Muslims customers who value its standard for quality, hygiene, and ethical production. The market is presently estimated at over $3 trillion US. And major players in the market are mostly Muslim countries. And also we have some non-Muslim countries also queuing into the industry. Major of them, of the Muslim countries are Malaysia, Indonesia, and Saudi Arabia. While on the side of non-Muslim countries, we have Brazil, Australia, and Thailand. The strategy was launched in Nigeria on 5th February 2026. And Nigeria has a strong potentials due to the large Muslim population, extensive livestock and agricultural resources, strategic location for export to other African countries and Middle East. If successfully implemented, it will generate over 1.5 billion US dollars to the GDP and will create many jobs and attract foreign investment, hence the need for legal regulation. However, up till now, there is no standard or regularized legal framework, that there is no act of the National Assembly dedicated exclusively to the halal industry. What is obtained now is multiple existing regulation and regulatory bodies such as SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria, NAFDAC, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, and so on. In this discussion today, we expect our presenters to explore various laws governing quality, labeling, and consumer protection, etc. And at the end of our deliberation, we hope to have a meaningful communique that will be used to shape the emergence of future legislation in enhancing regulation of halal industry in Nigeria. Therefore, I urge participants to engage meaningfully and contribute effectively to the discussion. Without much ado, it is my honor and privilege to call upon Professor Kamal Dawood of Faculty of Law, University of Maiduguri, to lead the discussion. Thank you very much. Professor, tafadhal.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم ملك يوم الدين ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلق الله محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, I greet you all with the best of greeting. I say to you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the greeting of Ahlul Jannah. You are not responding. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, when we talk about halal industries and halal market in Nigeria and the lack of legislation regulating it, it's a reflection that we Muslims were just a number. We are still not active enough to show that yes, we are present in Nigeria. Very few number of people will control this country, dictate what will happen in this country, try to show the way they want this country to go. But with our large number, we get so scared of them. Why? I don't know. When this issue of halal was brought up, some group came up and tried to bring themselves together with the Saudi Arabia good market on halal with a view to introduce such market in Nigeria. Some group said Nigeria will be Islamized, and before you know it, the launching was suspended. And the launching that my Lord, the chairman of this occasion, talked about, what was done secretively. Why? Muslims are weak. To all, when will we stand up to our responsibilities? My fear is not with us. My fear is about the young generations that are coming up, the innocent ones that knows nothing. And we are not paving way for them to take their places as good Muslims. What we are doing now is just to teach them how to read and write, to feed them, to feel comfortable, to give them clothes so that they will be able to go into the society and show that yes, my father is a lawyer and he's making good money. My father is a judge, he's well paid. That is not enough. What about the nursing of the heart, the teaching them that they have something to struggle about? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam struggled for 23 years. And when he was called upon to meet up his Lord, what did he say? Barrafiq al-A'la. Let me go and meet my Lord, because he knows that he has what? Discharged his duties. But what did he say? Ballighu anni walau aya. We are all responsible, honestly. And Allah will hold us accountable. Wallahi. So I will start by this note, so that we'll be able to know that yes, we have so much on us. My first slide. Let me thank MULAN for giving me this opportunity to stand before you and present this paper. And let me thank all my students that are here and my colleagues that came all the way from Maiduguri that said, no, we are not going to miss your presentation. And those colleagues of mine from Yobe. And let me thank each and every one of us seated here just to listen to what I just read last night, to come and present it today. It's not something much. It's just something I learned last night that I conceived and tried to simplify it and present it. The paper is on legal regulation of halal industry in Nigeria, the opportunities and the challenges. I have a simple question to ask us. Just walk into the supermarket and you see a sticker labeled halal. How do you know whether that claim is true? And if the claim is not true, where will you go to? In some countries, these questions can be answered clearly. legally. But in Nigeria, we don't have a precise answer to that question. And that is why it is very important for us to have regulation regulating the products, regulation regulating what we eat, regulation regulating what we wear, regulation regulating everything all about us. Why? So that we'll be halal compliant. This paper will be looking at three things: halal regulation, its actual meaning and why for it, the opportunities that are there for Nigerians in the halal market, and thirdly, what we need to do. Well, when I was writing this paper, you notice that I packed everything in the paper. It's just to assist us to know and to follow. Unlike when I would just give you some bulletin points and make the explanation. No, I want you to see. Next slide, please. I want you to see and know that this is what I'm talking about. And for it to assist my learned proof brother, to be able to know where I'm going to and what I'm talking about. Well, when you talk about halal industry, that's become the fastest growing sector of the economy in the world, just as the chairman of the occasion just said. Today, it is no longer limited to whether this food is halal or whether this drink is halal. No, it's all about market. It has covered a lot of areas, including pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, tourism, logistics, fashion, and most importantly, Islamic finance. Honestly, there are lots of implications when you talk about spending in the haram way. Wallahi, because the munkar and nakir is there in the grave waiting for you. They will ask you how you get the money and how you spend the money. So it's easy for you to now simplify your life from the dunya by complying fully with halal products and halal and Islamic finances. Honestly, it's not all about the Rayon dunya. Honestly, it's all about the munkar and nakir. They will ask you. Globally, the halal economy is growing, just as mentioned by the chairman, 2.43 trillion United States dollars annually that is being gotten from the halal sector. And we are saying that Nigeria has opportunity because we have about over 100 million Muslims in Nigeria. And not only because of that, because some people will want, as non-Muslims, to eat and drink and associate with clean things. Just go and ask the sukuk. You find out that most of those that are buying the shares in those areas are Christian, because it is assured, guarantee that at the end of the day, they will get what they want. However, despite the fact that Nigeria is having this opportunity of about 107 billion US dollars as of 2022, and it's increasing day in, day out opportunity, Nigeria has no comprehensive legal framework for halal regulation. Unlike other countries, as mentioned by the chairman of the occasion, like Malaysia, countries like Indonesia, and even countries that are non-Muslim countries, Australia, Brazil, and the likes. They make good money out of the regulations of halal or industries that are guaranteed that you have clean products to buy and consume. The concept of halal regulation, when you talk about it, you are not only talking about what is good, what is bad, and not halal in the Islamic perspective. Please, next slide. Halal, as we all know, means something that is lawful, something that is permissible under Islamic law, the opposite of haram. And another thing, another category close to haram and halal is the shubha. Rasul said, فَمَنِ اتَّقَى الشُّبْهَاتِ فَقَدْ اسْتَبْرَى لِدِينِهِ وَعِرْضِهِ وَمَنْ وَقَعَ فِي الشُّبْهَاتِ وَقَعَ فِي الْحَرَامِ. So it's not only the issue of halal, haram. No, it's for you to hit halalan tayyiba. Something that is permissible and something that is very poor. Very pure. Are we there? So the issue of what the product means is lawful things under Islamic law. Something that is very safe for consumption, hygienic, pure, beneficial, and ethically produced. So when you talk about issue of halal industry, you are talking about from the beginning of that product to the end, it's purely produced, hygienically produced, and it is produced for your own benefit and very safe for consumption. So you see, when you look at this definition, you try to understand that yes, we need something like this to consume. We need something like this to be part of our life. Not only because we want to live a good life, because we want to be fully accountable on the last day. And the last day that I'm talking of starts from the grave. Today, halal regulation also extend, as I said earlier, to pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, vaccines. We all know what we understand when we talk about vaccines. It took our religious leaders a very long time for them to believe in vaccination. Why? Because there are no issue guaranteeing whether it's halal or whether it's tayyib. They always put it in the class of shubuhat, never in halal and tayyiba. Today, Nigeria needs what will, or an authority that will certify this halal, so that when you see a product, you see on it purely, clearly indicated that this is halal and tayyiba. So it's easy for you to buy and easy for you to consume. Next slide, please. What we are talking about is not new. And I think the chairman of the occasion referred to it briefly. This is not new. It's a big market in Malaysia. It's a big market in Indonesia. It's a big market in Saudi Arabia. And it's a big market in UAE. And it's a big market in Australia, despite the fact that Australia is a secular state. It has no, dedicated halal law. But it has some certification that shows that these products are good for consumption. These products are highly hygienic, and these products will not be harmful. So it makes it very easy for people to what? To go into it and people to buy, despite the fact that it's not an Islamic state. Next slide, please. There are many lessons for Nigeria to learn from Malaysia. There are many lessons for Nigeria to learn from Indonesia. There are many lessons for Nigeria to learn from Saudi Arabia. There are many lessons for Nigeria to learn from Australia. First, there must be a dedicated halal regulation that creates legal certainty, which we don't have. There must be an authority that will accredit all the products and certify them, which we don't have. We must integrate trade and custom system to strengthen the enforcement. This can be done. We can harmonize with international standard to facilitate export. Honestly, Nigeria is finding it very difficult to export because the standard of the product that they are exporting did not reach the international standard. But when you have something like halal and tayyib in place, easy for it to meet the requirement. because it's pure. Islam is universal. Islam is of standard. And even the white man is copying what is in the Quran. Look at whatever Islam has prohibited you from taking, wallahi, hygienically, health-wise. You find out that there's benefit for you not taking it. Look at whatever Islam has encouraged you to do, wallahi, hygienically. Otherwise, you find it that it's beneficial to you. So, when we now have legislations and we put into practice this halal and tayyiba, disregard those people that are saying we are Islamizing Islam. We are doing it for ourselves, for our children yet unborn, for them to be able to grow up and meet up with things that will be beneficial to them. Not things that they will be taking, the next thing is they will be thinking that their legs are paining them because of what they consume. A colleague was telling me yesterday that there is many types of oil, groundnut oil, that you know in the market, and they are of classes. And what brought about this discussion was the fact that he said he has stopped eating posay from the open market. And I asked him why. He said because of the oil that they use in frying the posay. Of course, the person that is frying the posay will want to make more profit. So that person will not go for a standardized what? Oil. He will go for the cheapest oil, where he will be able to fry the posay and he will be able to make more money. Then I now asked him how. He said there was this time that he noticed that somebody consumed groundnut oil, and after some time he's just passing that groundnut oil he took from what? Directly, no, non-stop. And you will notice it's on the news. Just of recent in Maiduguri, some part of Maiduguri were crying cholera, cholera. Why? It's because of the hygiene. It's because of the standard of the hygiene. We don't have standard in the food we take. It affects us health-wise. So, fourthly, there must be a clear distinction between the government regulation and religious certification. Honestly, and there is that constitutional confusion that are you going to now talk about regulating halal and tayyiban through the federal the law acts from the National Assembly, or should you now allow the State Assembly to regulate? I am of the view that it should be stepped down to the state level. Why? Because the state is more closer to the people. Two, it could be easier to manage when it's at the state level. That's my own view. Today, globally, the market is of about, as I said earlier, 2.43 trillion annually. And when you talk about the total with regard to Nigeria, Nigeria is leading because of the number of the Muslims in Nigeria. So halal food is the largest single segment, is at about 4.43 trillion as at 2023. And by 2028, the projection is about 1.93 trillion. Halal pharmaceuticals is about 39% of that amount. Traveling is about 37%, and cosmetics is about 38%. The projection is as at 2028. Halal economy in Nigeria. Next slide, please. Nigeria is the world's 8th largest domestic halal economy. As at 2022, 107 billion. And the projection is, as at 2027, 180 billion. A very beautiful market, honestly. Nigeria halal food and beverage beverage market alone, value about 27.2 billion as of 2025, expected to reach 38.2 billion by 2038, growing at 42%. Nigerian halal import 35% as of 2023, and Nigeria currently have over 100 halal certified food company, but there is no law backing it. Next slide, please. Yes, the chairman just said it. On the 5th of February 2026, secretly, Nigeria officially launched National Halal Economic Strategy. Why must it be so? The strategy is projected as to contribute the estimate of 1.5 billion to the Nigerian GDP by 2027, unlocking over 12 billion in economic value by 2030. The strategy was developed in partnership with the Halal Product Development Company of Saudi Arabia and with Islamic Development Bank and the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa. But my question there is that why must it be done secretly? And even when it was to be organized and to be launched openly, the Christians went against it and the government backed off and went doing it secretly. There are regulations, very similar, but they are not as effective. And the chairman talked about some. And I did talk about the issue of constitutional issue, whether to leave it at the federal level or to leave it at at the state level. Then, next slide, please. The chairman too talked about NAFDAC, talked about SON, talked about Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. And there are some private bodies too that are trying, but they are not recognized and they are not that very effective. But when we have the legislation, when we have the regulation, the effect will be higher and the market will be encouraging, honestly, not only for Nigerians, but for those people that are in need for products that are coming out of Nigeria. Next slide, please. It's not only about Nigeria as a nation. It has become an international issue when you talk about international trade, including Africa as a continent, honestly. So it's not only Nigeria, and that is why there's need for us to key in by having regulation that will regulate that sector and to have authorized, well-known body that will be able to certify products as halal products. So the absence of reliable halal export data is very important because it assists the market, but with no good, well-authorized authority to take the data, you don't even know what is going out of Nigeria or what is coming out of Nigeria as a market. Next slide, please. Honestly, there are opportunities. One of the opportunity when you have guarantee market is access to global halal market. 2, it assists in economic diversification. 3, it assists in the growth of the halal, particularly in pharmaceuticals and cosmetics. Yes, and the consumers too, they know what they are taking and they are sure of what they are taking. And they will know that what they are taking is a guaranteed thing because it has been certified. There is food safety and the public health will be what? Standardized. Foreign investment, they know what they are buying from Nigeria is a good thing, they will come in. Regional leadership, Nigeria will take the lead and others will definitely follow. Next slide, please. There are challenges. I've talked about the opportunities. There are challenges. One of it is absence of dedicated legislation, lack of national regulatory authority, inconsistency in certification standard as it is as at now, because there is no regulatory authority. Fraudulent halal claim, I said it at the beginning of my presentation. How will you know whether it is a good claim or bad? How will you be able to know whether the claim that this is a certified halal product is right or wrong? Because there are no authority to approach and question. Absence of guideline from NAFDAC and SONG, because they are not for halal. They are there for the Nigerian market as it is today. Of course, what do you expect of them? Higher compliance cost? Yes, because we don't have halal regulatory body. Things go very high, and the cost of things are very high. The recognition, international recognition problem. Yes, if it is halal certified, the international community know that what is coming out of Nigeria is guaranteed. Now, nobody can be assured that yes, what is coming from Nigeria is guaranteed. So the recognition of our products is a problem. Emerging technology has also problem. Way forward. Next slide, please. First is that Nigeria should enact halal industry law or halal industry act. Second, Nigeria should have national halal regulatory authority or halal regulatory authority for states. Third, SONG should develop the national halal standard to meet the best practice internationally. NAFDAC should also have provision for guidelines to labeling halal products. Fifthly, that Nigeria should pursue mutual recognition agreements with countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, countries that are very advanced in this area. Sixth, that the government should support the halal thing so that Nigerians will be able to benefit from it. Lastly, Nigerians should embrace digital technology so that those extra technology that will be able to assist us to see that the consumers get what they have. The roadmap. A realistic roadmap for halal regulation reform in Nigeria, next slide, should be in phases. The immediate one should be between a year and two. Nigeria should enact halal law. Then Nigeria should have an authority that will be regulating this market. Then from 3 years to the 5 years, now SONG develop national halal and in line with the OIC framework. And Nigeria should key into this halal jurisdiction. And from 5 years and above, we should be talking about digital innovations. In conclusion, Nigeria should possess all ingredients necessary to become a major force in the global halal economy. What we recommend from this paper are 5 things. We should have halal law. We should develop the halal strategies and policies in line with the OIC international framework, and we should be able to compete at the international level. My message, ladies and gentlemen, is let me close this saying by, does Nigeria have any problem to really have halal market? Looking at the big and large number of Nigerians that are Muslims, that these are opportunities that we should not miss. It's not only local opportunity, it's international. It is not only opportunities economical, it has to do with our religion. Halalan tayyiba. To me, Nigeria does not have halal problem. Nigeria has a regulatory problem. And I say Nigeria must lead. or Nigeria will be left behind. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. I'm sure
I agree for the presenter. I agree once again. I see you agree with me that the presenter has done very much.
Yes, done justice to the paper. We thank him very well. May Allah increase you in knowledge, wisdom, and health. He has already talked about all the aspects that need to be discussed in relation to the legal framework of halal. However, let me call upon Professor Abikon, the Director General of the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, to discuss the paper. We hope we are going to get more from the Prof. May Allah guide him in his presentation. Thank you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهديه الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما. The chairman of this session, the lead presenter, the Lord Grand Cadis of various states in attendance, the Lord Cadis and Justices of the High Court of various states in attendance, our distinguished past president of MULAN, the current leadership of MULAN, starting with our president and national officers, our very important committee, the Shura committee. I know they will be busy somewhere now. We acknowledge them. My brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Permit me once again to express my profound gratitude to the leadership of MULAN for giving me this opportunity to lend my voice to this very critical discussion in our national development. But not only in our national development, but also in our organizational development as MULAN. I want to congratulate MULAN for taking a leading position in this very critical discourse that is global yet very recent or recurring, recently in our thoughts. And that's why I want to appreciate the lead presenter for the in-depth analysis he has done in his paper. Although I know as an academic, he still has a lot to do on the paper, and I've told him we will do that together and make it something that will be published, because that's the gain of the academics. By the time everybody listens, everybody dispersed. We hope that the policy makers will pick some things from this presentation, make use of it, but to have more recognition beyond conference presentation, we publish it and in a reputable journal that will be available to the whole of the world. Now, my position is to look at the paper presented and give my thoughts about it and look at some areas probably that needed to be amended or improved. And that's what I'm going to do briefly. It's not expected that I'm going to present another paper, but just to talk about the paper just presented. I must say, like I mentioned earlier, that the paper was well researched, covering different areas.
expected of an academic paper, even though it's a conference paper here. But for us as academic, we don't lose sight of the forum where it's being presented. We prepare it for a higher goal where it will have wider readership even beyond the current conference where it is being presented. And that's why the paper did a very good introduction of the topic, the legal regulation of the halal industry in Nigeria, opportunities and challenges. Now, if you look at this topic, it has a lot of variables. In academic, we look at key words that a paper is expected to speak to. And that must be deciphered from the title of whatever presentation. Even though the lead speaker was not the one that coined, I guess he was not the one that coined the topic. But as an academic, he has been able to pick out different variables that are supposed to be spoken to from the topic, talking about legal regulation of the halal industry. Generally, you expect to have an introduction that will give you an appetite into what you expect in the whole of the presentation, which the paper really did. But I know that by the time we are finalizing the paper, it will be more elaborate in a way that if somebody reads the introduction, he has a very fair idea of almost everything that is going to be covered in the whole of the paper. Of course, he has also done a number of conceptual clarification, as we call it, talking about halal, haram, and shubuhat. And again, in that regard, the only area I want to add in that area is because we are speaking about legal regulation and talking about halal, whether anybody likes it or not, even the non-Muslim country, the Brazil, the Australia, that have keyed into the halal market, it's not because they want to be Muslims. And the halal market will never make them to be Muslims. But they want to key into the economic benefit of what halal market has to offer. And for us, Islam is a global religion. Its benefit in Sadnaka Rahmatan lil Alamin. The Prophet was sent as a mercy to the whole world. So meaning that whatever benefit that Islam is bringing is not just for the Muslims. And that's why today, look at the hue and cries when the Islamic finance was to be introduced to Nigeria. I can attest today, a number of my students wanted to write about the reception of Islamic finance in Nigeria. And at different times, you hear people saying the Christians are the people benefiting more in Islamic finance. And I will ask them to go and bring me evidence. Because in academic, you don't just make general statements. Even though it may be statement of fact, but you have to give evidence. It must be evidence-based. And today, as a practitioner and an academic, I can attest to you, I'm on the board of a number of Islamic finance institutions. And one of them was doing 10-year anniversary recently, Islamic Microfinance Bank, and they were to give awards to their customer. Their number one customer of that microfinance since they started to 10 years that has benefited the most and who has brought the best of benefits to the bank is a Christian, an Igbo guy. Let me tell you, this Igbo guy adopted halal business because of Islamic financing. He dropped haram business and picked halal business because he needed to access financing. And they told him, we are sorry, you are dealing in liquor. We are not permitted to give money to anybody dealing in liquor. This guy dropped liquor out of his business and picked other things to be able to access Islamic financial services. And he became the best customer in 10 years. He got an award. A Christian He attended. It's not a matter of somebody was just making exaggeration. Go to Jaiz Bank, go to any of our banks. They will be the one because they are business. And we are talking, وَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. Allah says in Quran chapter 2 that يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ كُلُوا مِمَّا فِي الْأَرْضِ حَلَالًا طَيِّبًا وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ مُّبِينٌ. Consume of what you have made halal, that what we are from what we are permitted. And you look at it, Islam scholars have said it's only in few occasions you find Allah prohibiting. And that's why the principle of Islamic law is that al-aslu fil mu'amalat al-ibaha. When you are talking about mu'amalat, transaction, what we do, what we eat, or whatever we do, permissibility is the foundation principle. Whatever you want to do, you are allowed to do, except in few areas where Allah says, don't go to this. And by the time you do the analysis of what Allah says you should not go into, you still see that it's for our benefit. Whether in our economy, whether in our health, whether in our mental health, in all ramifications. So my area that we are going to contribute further in this is that by the time we are laying a conceptual framework of the legal regulation, we should lay foundation from Quran and Sunnati perspective. That's because we are not shy about it. Sometimes in 2004, in the UK, they launched the first Islamic bank, and they were not shy to call it Islamic Bank of Britain. Since 2004, Islamic Bank of Britain. If anybody tries it in Nigeria, the heaven will fall. Now the point I'm making is that, but despite all the cries that we have in Nigeria, eventually, when the benefit comes, because Islam does not restrict in terms of whatever benefit is bringing to humanity, they still be the best beneficiary of those. So we must not shy away from telling the whole world that halal market has its foundation in Islam, has its foundation in the Quran, has its foundation in the Sunnah. And that's why by presenting this kind of academic paper, we must bring out and let everybody know we are not shy away. It's either you buy it. Those who are buying to it that are not Muslim, they don't want to be Muslims, but they know at the end of the day it's going to be beneficial to their economy. And to them, they are not shy away from even changing their laws. I'm aware as far back as 2006, the UK, because they want to attract the Islamic finance to their economy, they amended their tax law in a way that everything they wrote there is Sharia, but they don't call it Sharia. They will just explain it in simple language. You will not find any Islamic terminology in it. But because they must put that as part of their law before they are able to access the market, they have to do it. So that's that about the conceptual. The paper also did a fantastic comparative analysis of international model. But again, at this point, as an academic paper, we supposed to also look into our history as Nigerians, because for me, halal market is not new to us. It's only that we have not been able to aggregate it, harness it, formalize it. Our abattoir everywhere in the northern Nigeria is halal abattoir, is it not? Is there anywhere in northern Nigeria, even in the whole of Nigeria, even where they do not believe in Islam, if you have two Muslims and they have abattoir, in fact, they will prefer relying on go to Port Harcourt, find any abattoir. It's likely you find Muslims are the one killing their cows, because it must be halal. They may want to run away from it, but they don't have choice. It has to be halal. Not to talk of where we have population of Muslims. So you go to our market, And that's why in northern Nigeria, you hardly, in those days, I know that is also changing. Even our market setting has to be certified as allowed or not. For a long time, the whole of the north, you don't find much of our women in the open market. And or where everybody would just be, obnobbing and, as much as possible, particularly I remember in history from the time of the Sokoto Caliphate, you still find, even in our market, halal things that we do that you don't find somebody publicly in another market selling anything that is not halal. But again, I must tell you a story, Mr. Chairman, if I'm not talking too much. When I was about to return to Nigeria in 2007, I met a professor in a conference in Malaysia, and he was one of the founding professors of Islamic finance in Malaysia. And I wanted to come back. I needed some hands-on training, apart from the academic. I want to go to retraining of Islamic finance. And I went back to my archive, and I saw his email address. I just sent an email to him. Prof, can you give me short training on practical Islamic finance? And he replied that, fantastic, that my university has some millions, hundreds of millions they want to expend before December. That's about July. That I should aggregate as much of Nigerians who want to do that training. They will pay for our tickets, they will give us hotel, they will do everything and give us the training for free. Set a bill. They want to give halal training on Islamic finance free. Pay for our air ticket, accommodation, feeding, and we had a very nice time. The point I'm trying to make at this point is that when we went to the field, after the theoretical aspect is more workshop and practical, they took us around their halal products, and I'm coming into that, the economic diversification benefit that this will bring to our economy. We were taken to a woman, somebody that was not literate, and she was frying small what they call it now, cookies, and you are meant to appreciate that our cookies from that small place is in Australia. That you go to Australia, you find our cookies there. It's not a company, it's not a big company. We just small 2 rooms, and our product got as far as Australia, and that's what a large certification can do to any product. Imagine our small and medium businesses in two rooms, doing small things that we know how to do, and it was well packaged and it's all over the world. What do you think? That is foreign exchange from the small room where that woman was preparing her cookies. So this is one of the benefits. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll quickly rush through some of the things I pulled down from the paper. Yes. Of course, the Nigerian halal market, fantastic analysis. It gave us a lot of statistics that are very beneficial in that area. Then the regulatory bodies, particularly apart in the area of legal framework, apart from the provision of Section 38 on freedom of religion that give us inroads to anything Islamic in this country. Section 16 of the Constitution is also very relevant because it's one of the economic objectives of a government is to ensure that every Nigerian have economic progress. Okay, so if you must have economic progress in the nation, and that's why I was amazed the day they said they cancelled the launching of halal economy in Nigeria because some Christians they tried to challenge it, and our government chickened out. But again, I blame those who organized it. Why must you go to Aso Rock because you want to launch halal economy? You don't need to do it in Aso Rock. In fact, halal economy is more private sector than government. What the government comes to do is regulation, but the running of the economy itself is in the private sector. Why are we taking it to Aso Rock? Is it not Riyah we are doing with that? And Riyah is not about Islam. If we really want to achieve, we have to be strategic. And these are some of the areas we are going to inject into the paper. So the NAFDAC, the SON, these are bodies that are statutory bodies to look into what we eat, what we drink, and all whatnot. But again, the halal aspects are not factored into this when they were establishing all these agencies. And my position on this is that we don't need to reinvent the wheel like we did in Islamic finance. And we have a very good story to tell about how Islamic finance was eventually accepted in Nigeria. My Martaba, the Emir of Kano, may Allah continue to elongate his life. May Allah continue to bless him. I'll continue to pray for Emir Sanusi because he did what the whole of Nigerian Muslim could not do in 24 hours. Takbir. I'm very familiar with this area because it's my area of expertise. By the time I started my research in 2004 on Islamic finance, Islamic banking was established in 2011, and that's about 7 years apart that I've started working on it. And on the eve of 2004, Jais Bank, it was not Jais Bank then, because it was under promotion state. They have not licensed it. Those who are promoting Jais Bank have submitted all their requirements to the central bank to be licensed, and they were given approval in principle. Only for Charles Soludo to come and say you want to do recapitalization of all the banks in Nigeria. When the capital to start a bank then was 2 billion, and the Muslims have deposited 2 billion as of December 2004. Only in March, April to say we need recapitalization and everybody must go to 25 billion. 25 billion, and that was a serious setback for Islamic finance in Nigeria. I've written an article and it was published by our faculty. I call it illegality of the CBN recapitalization policy. That policy was illegal, and alhamdulillah was vindicated. When Emir Sanusi came, he reversed that policy, and that was why we were able to have Islamic banking in Nigeria. But he did not stop at that. Rather than going to 25 billion, and he said there is nowhere in the world when they say all the bank must have the same capital base. And that was my argument. The law, our Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act, gave us category of banks with different capital base. How can you say everybody must go to the same? That was the illegality committed by the central bank in that law. So he came back and graduated it. If you want to have branch in the whole of the country, you are a mega bank, go to 25 billion. If you want to have branch in one geopolitical zone, this amount. If you want to have a contingent geopolitical zone, it's 12 million. And the list was about 5 billion. And he brought Islamic banking under that 5 billion. But he did not stop at that. I watched his video where he says, that same day, he said, where is the file of Islamic finance? After 80 years that they are not be able to do anything, he said, Alhaji Aliko Dangote dropped 1 billion before 24 hours, and he dropped it. He called another one, dropped 1 billion to Jais before 24 hours, and he dropped it. And he called 5 people to drop 1 billion, and they did. And the following day, he gave license to Islamic Bank. Takbir. This is what we need to be strategic. To have an inroad to the halal market. There are a lot of benefits because of the want of time. I want to thank the chairman for giving me this opportunity. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you.
Please. You agree with me that this is a compulsory extension. You have accepted the paper very well, and
Thank
you have to make further explanation on the halal industry and even on the finance industry. What drew my attention is what the professor was saying, the effort made by the Emir of Kano
Muhammad Sunusi, may Allah bless him. When he called Aliko Dangote to drop 1 billion, and he did. Just last week, Aliko Dangote received 302 million naira as a dividend from Jais because he owned 11.65% of shares in Jais. Similarly, Tantata Investment and Securities Limited, just last week, received 990 million naira in dividends because they also own 7.24% of the shares in Jais. So these are the economic benefits of these institutions. As Muslims, what we have to say is just to say Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. We have a lot to offer. In terms of bonds like Sukuk, is the most secured Sukuk, is the most secured bond now in Nigeria. People are investing massively in Sukuk. Also Takaful is also very secured. Islamic financing is also secured. So we have a lot of things we have to advertise and deliver to the country. But whenever anything Islamic is brought up, our brothers in the other faith will be clamoring that there will be Islamization of Nigeria. There's nothing Islamic. So at this juncture, I want to advise our legal practitioners, particularly Muslim lawyers. This halal industry is very, very lucrative industry. You have to key in, because once it is implemented, you will be called upon to provide documents, to make agreements, to go for certification and what have you. And it will fetch you a lot of money. So try and key into this industry very well. Similarly, you are going to do it with passion. Passion as Muslims is not only the worldly benefit that you are going to get, but it's also divinely rewarding. You are killing two birds with one stone. You are getting your fee and at the same time a reward from Almighty God because you assisted in what is halal. Thank you very much for listening. We come to the end of this session. However, before we go to the question and answer session, I was told that some participants who are linked to the Nigerian Bar Association want to make some presentation. I will give you 10 minutes for that purpose because I don't want it to interfere with our programs. Please, straight to 10 minutes. Each participant will have only 2 minutes to present whatever he wants. Thank you very much. We are accommodating you because even though the program is Islamic, but we are all brothers and sisters. The Nigeria belongs to all of us. You come and showcase your product, what you have for us. Thank you. Who are you calling? We just kira shi tuna sun zo bakin mu ne. So they have to take it now. They want them to take it now so that we go for question and answers.
Yes, the first person to be invited is Okay. Then after Okay, there is Dr. Rahul Buka. And after Dr. Rahul Buka, please come forward and shoot the name, please. Okay, then after Dr. Rahul Buka, then after him is then after him Lukman. Then Agoro, and the last person is Hadiza Nasser. Yes.
Chairman said 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Good evening, the National Chairman of MULAN, distinguished bar leaders of MULAN, and respected colleagues. I bring you greetings from Port Harcourt branch of the NBA. My name is OK Leo Ohaba. I stand before this august body first to felicitate this body on your national conference.
I am with you in and out. I have seen a mini annual general conference of the NBA holding in Kano. This is unprecedented crowd. I've been to MULAN events, but this one is very special. And I must commend the planners of this event. Secondly, I'm standing to also seek your support for the office of General Secretary of the NBA in the coming election. Between 2016 to 2018, I served as the first Assistant General Secretary of the NBA, in which office I was properly groomed to step into the bigger office, which is the office of the General Secretary of the NBA. And that is why I stand out as your best foot forward when you talk about restoring the institutional memory of the NBA Secretariat. What I bring to the table is innovation. I pledge innovative secretariat. I do not just speak innovation, I work innovation. Between 2013 to 2015, I served as the NBA representative of the Board of Corporate Affairs Commission. And what did I do there? I brought innovation. Today you can transact with your phone to register companies because we made it happen to make sure that we moved into digitalization. For the rest of time, I will stop at this point, but remember that Okelio Ohaba is your best foot forward for General Secretary of the NBA. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. I've been instructed to inform the next speakers that each speaker will be given only 1 minute, please. There are about 7. Please, the next person should quickly come forward. The next person is Lawrence Jayola. Lawrence Jayola, please come forward, and you have only 1 minute. The next person should get ready, please. Dr. Apollo Luka. Just 1 minute.
All right, respected parties here present, High Court judges, senior advocates of Nigeria, the leaders of this wonderful MULAN body. Good evening. My name is Lawrence Shegun Ayowa, and I'm not a stranger amongst you. I was born in the northern part of Nigeria, and this whole event today is not strange to me. And I must say that the Islamic body is one body that I have so much respect for. And even in the south where I live, most times when some of my character is said, they will ask me, are you a northerner? And I'll probably say yes. I was born in Kaduna and I was grown in Plateau. So I've always been around the north. My guy is here, Ede Sambo, is the judge of the High Court of Sokoto, where I sit. I have come today to seek your support for the office of National Publicity Secretary. I have taken it upon myself to help better the image of the Nigerian Bar Association and change the perception about lawyers. Lawyers are seen as a problem, while we are actually a solution. Please, on July 20th, I will want you all to vote Lawrence Shegun Ayowa as your publicity secretary. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next person is Lukman Dayola. And after him, Agogo Gladys will be the next person. Please quickly come forward. And after Agogo Gladys is Abdul Kadir Khalid. Where are they? Are these others? Please, before they come. Where are they? Is that for the Kizuki? Papa Suzuki. Come forward. You have only 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
Okay, sorry, they said I have only 1 minute, so please permit me to start on the existing protocol. My name is Agogo Gladys Opomo, popularly known as I Am Agogo. Well, this is my jurisdiction, so I am pleased to be in this conference. I want to say thank you for the warm reception. The love that I have actually seen and felt is really, really worthy of applause. So I want to congratulate the MULAN organizers for such a very wonderful conference. I am of the Mina branch. I grew up in Peladan, Zaria, and so I'm actually a full-blooded Northerner. I know that yes, there are people from Oyo, there are people from Kwara, there are people from all over Nigeria here. And so I greet all of you specially. Please permit me to greet my leader. My leader, he is Sami Khartoum. Please, I especially want to greet him here. I thank you for everything you have been doing. I'm contesting for the office of Assistant General Secretary. I know for your president, you want a reliable assistant. You want a secretariat that will listen to your questions, that actually respond to your questions. Please support me. Your life is support. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Then the next person is MULAN Jayola. You have only 1 minute.
So, my name is MULAN Jayola. I greet all my brothers and sisters in Islam. Former chairman, Ibadan branch, former member, Council of Legal Education. I'm running for the position of first vice president. I think your support for this aspiration. The vision is just for a better bar. So, as I stated earlier, MULAN is my name. My aspiration is for the position of fourth vice president.
Thank you very much. The next person is Abdulkadir Tamim. Abdulkadir Tamim. You have only 1 minute.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Abdulkadir Tamim, but I must quickly say here that the way it will be written on that day is Kadir Tamim. Kadir is spelled Kadir, while Tamim is spelled Temin. Tamim, Kadir Tamim. I'm contesting for the post of General Counsel of the Bar. Please, come 20th July, kindly tick Tamim. You are not likely to see anybody bearing Tamim on that day. There is nobody bearing Tamim. Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Thank you very much. The next person is Dr. Rafulu Duka. Dr. Rafulu Duka. Doctor, you have only 1 minute. Let's take us to the abstracts.
Salamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Rafulu Duka. Rafulu means leave everything for God. So, but there are things that God will do through lawyers. And for those ones, you need to leave them for the lawyers so that God will use them. I used to be the National Publicity Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association when Olumide Abata was the NBA president. And you will agree with me that I did well. I know that we kept people informed about what was going on in NBA, because prior to that, people were complaining that they didn't know what was happening in NBA. But by the time I was through, people were saying that we had information overload and no longer absence of information. And I want to tell you today, I want to run for the office of the General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. And I want to ask you to please judge me by my past. If I've done well as a publicity secretary, I will do better as a General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. And you know I'm very accessible. You can always call me at any point in time and I will sort out whatever issues there is. Thank you so much, and please remember Dr. Rafulu Duka for General Secretary. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rafulu Duka. Yes, the second to the last is MULAN Jayola. Lukman, you have only 1 minute. No, straight to the point. No.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is MULAN Jayola. I am a member of the Nigerian Bar Association. It is my honor to be here this evening. I have a contestant
in the next MBA national election. I am vying for the office of Assistant Publicity Secretary. I have been serving the Nigerian Bar Association consistently, particularly promoting the objective of the Nigerian Bar Association. Me coming to Kano today is an honor for me, and it's a home coming back to home. I did my law school at Bagauda, Kano, and I started my service from the community of Bagauda. I am one of the very few students that got a letter of commendation, having served as a clinician in Bagauda community. I have done tremendously in promoting the objective of the Nigerian Bar Association. In January 2024, I celebrated over 500 pro bono appearances promoting the objective of the Nigerian Bar Association. I have released over 400 emails from the correctional center across the federation promoting the objective of the Nigerian Bar Association. In 2024, I won the Khalifa Wayimi Outstanding Impact Award for the numbers of the pro bono services I have done promoting the objective of the Nigerian Bar Association. I am using this medium and show you to register my name, Lukman Ola for the office of Assistant Publicity. Thank you very much. The last person to be invited is Hadiza Nasir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hadiza Nasir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Good evening. We are given just 1 minute, so permit me to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Hadiza Nasir Ahmad. I am born and brought up in Kano. I am from Kano State. Yes, I'm from the core Kano City. I am contesting for the position of Assistant Publicity Secretary of the MBA. Yes, I am the outgoing Assistant Secretary of MBA Kano branch because we just had our election on Saturday. Yes, before that, I am the head Young Female Lawyers Committee, presently the head Young Female Lawyers Committee of the MBA, and also a member Citizens Liberties Committee of the MBA. I was the first secretary where I left of MBA Kano branch, and I was a member of the Electoral Reform Committee of the MBA during Olivia Apata's tenure. Then I was the only northerner in that committee and the only young lawyer. Yes, I was. Thank you very much. I was also a member of the sports committee of the MBA. Yes, during the conference planning committee, that's 2023-2024. And I was also a coordinator of the Young Female Lawyers Committee and of the MBA Women Forum Committee. I am in I serve in the bar, both in my branch and the national level. This is the most I can remember. And I'm here today to welcome all of you because you are in my branch, you are in my state. To welcome all of you to my state for this conference. And I must commend the conference planning committee for this thing. The National Alliance Strategy, a very economic advancement and sustainable development. The election is coming on the 20th July, and don't forget Hadiza Nasir Ahmad. I am Hadiza Nasir Ahmad, and I am going to be.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hadiza Nasir. Thank you very much. The last person is Chiwendu Ugochukwu from Lagos. Thank you very much. You have just 1 minute.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hadiza, you took my time. Be careful. One of my brothers. So our body is here present. Can I start on all existing protocol? My name is Chiwendu Ugochukwu. I am the former Welfare Secretary of MBA Lagos branch and also a staff of the National Human Rights Commission Lagos State Office. I am here. This is my second missionary journey to Kano. And interestingly, these are the two journeys have been very, very interesting. No time for love story. All I'm here is to solicit for the support for the position of the National Welfare Secretary of the bar. I have done it in my branch and I did it successfully. And I know if I can do it in any way Lagos branch, I can also reproduce a lot. Some of my policies that I brought out in my branch was duplicated in the national. So if the national can copy me, imagine when I become a national welfare secretary.
So all I'm saying is that I am your welfare that is welfare that is going to make sure your welfare is going to be welfare. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate. There are some acknowledgements. We acknowledge the presence of Professor Ibrahim Abdullahi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria from Faculty of Law, Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. We equally acknowledge the presence of Qadi Ahmad Muhammad Lamin. We equally acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Grand Qadi, Sharia Court of Appeal, Kano State. And attention, please. A mobile handset and a gate pass have been found. Therefore, if the owners are available, they should please come forward with the proof of ownership and for them to take a position. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, This campaign speeches remind me of some 15, 20 years back when I was a very active farmer. So I really like the speeches. May Allah bless all of us. So we are going to comment, question and answers. However, before I call on the commentators, there is Mr. Yahya Dangana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. He sought my leave. He wants to make some comments on the papers presented. If Mr. Yahya Dangana is close, he should come to the podium, please. Gamkadi. Yahya Dangana, Senior Advocate. You have just 2 minutes to make your comments.
From the theme and the discussion that just took place, national halal strategy and the legal instruments for halal sector in Nigeria. Particularly from the discussion of Professor Nabi, everybody that is in tune with the financial subsector will agree that in terms of halal, Islamic finance or halal finance, we have no problem with that, because all the necessary application and institution are in uniformity towards compliance or in respect with compliance. Now, as Muslims, our problem currently should be centered on issue of consumables. What is it that we are consuming? Take, for instance, from the northern part of Nigeria, on daily basis, trailers of cattle are being shipped into the south and abroad. Why is it that if I found myself in Akwa Ibom, I still find it very difficult to say, give me beef? I had this experience as an undergraduate student. I was planning excursion visits. I went to Maritime Academy in Oron. When I came back to town, I was hungry. I was mindful of what to eat, and that was how I did not eat. Yes. So now we have consumables, drinks, food, and others. What role is Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs playing towards safeguarding what Muslims are consuming? At a point in time in this country, there were videos running of how donkeys, dead animals were being processed into what is it called? This thing they put in sausage roll, sausage roll. So looking at this, as Muslims, in every organization we have self-regulatory organizations. As Muslims, can't Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs come up with a policy to say that for everything that needs to be consumed by Muslims, it has to take this quality? Yes, Standard Organization is playing a role. Yes, NAFDAC are playing their own role. in respect of that.
Thank you, Lana.
Now, should we have, sorry, please, Mr. Chairman, should we have alternative to what is being circulated? Those that are not producing in compliance with what we want will shift ground. But unfortunately, as Muslims, the entirety of the Muslim world in Nigeria today, in terms of consumable, drinks and what have you, where are our alternative products? We don't have it. If we have it, even if it is in the minutest number, others, for the fear of losing their market, will certainly key into what we are doing. Therefore, the wealthy ones among us, this is a wake-up call. Almighty Allah will ask you of what you do with your wealth. And one of the ways is to invest in what will guarantee the safety and the Islamic concept of what we consume. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much. I will also call upon the Honorable of Kaduna State. He indicated interest in making some comments. Honorable Grand Kadi, Kaduna State.
Mr. Chairman, the presenter, the discussant, other conferees, Assalamu alaikum. The presenter of the paper advocated for having halal regulation law in Nigeria. So my question is, who will champion the cause of getting that kind of legislation? MULAN, I suggest MULAN National should make a draft law, either sponsor it to the National Assembly or find a halal compliant legislator at the National Assembly and pass it through him. That is one. Secondly, about Islamic banking has come to stay in Nigeria, no doubt about it. My problem is where there is a dispute between an Islamic bank and its customer, which court has the jurisdiction to try and resolve that dispute? As at now, it is only the federal and state high courts that have such jurisdiction. And if such a matter is before a judge like the chairman, I will sleep with my two eyes closed because I know justice will be done to the case. But other judges of the high court that are not learned in Islamic law, what law are they going to use to resolve that kind of dispute? So with this, I call for the expansion of the jurisdiction of the Sharia Court of Appeal to include banking, Islamic banking matters, so that such dispute can be resolved in a halal way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my lord. I will also call upon Professor Ibrahim Abdullah, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. He also indicated interest in making his comments. Professor Ibrahim Abdullah, Senior Advocate.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Let me first and foremost commend the presenter and the discussant on the paper presented. I personally am very much enlightened. As an academic, I took into consideration the theme of this particular conference vis-a-vis the title of the paper. Now, my question is, the National Halal Strategy, what are those strategies that have been provided for? I was expecting an analysis of these strategies to even know if there are shortfalls or shortcomings that may elicit comments from members that are attending this particular conference. An analysis of these particular strategies. Secondly, I have an observation that halal or the halal industry implies that goods and services are lawful from source to the consumers. Now, like other speakers have said, consumables relates to goods. Services are quite different. So whatever is going to be the takeaways from what these Islamic countries are practicing, we need, as a matter of fact, to try to tinker them so that they accord with our own local circumstances. For example, if, for example, somebody's goods and services were registered.
Prof, be mindful of the time.
Thank you, sir. If somebody's goods and services are registered by NAFDAC and they are not halal, and we are now calling for state legislation, are we now saying that such goods and services cannot be sold? That is one problem. That is one area that there may be potential conflict. And that is why my own personal opinion is that let us try for a federal legislation. The issue of regulating halal through the state may not be feasible. To what extent can the state effectively deal with these issues? Taking into consideration that, of course, there are certain things that they may need to regulate that falls within the exclusive legislative list. So we cannot shy away from the constitutional provisions dealing with goods, rendering of goods and service, which, of course, the state legislation may want to legislate. So there may be conflict here. And, of course, we do know that it is better for us to have a federal legislation that will be all-encompassing, that will be all-covering, rather than having state legislation that may not necessarily bind countries or non-Muslim states. Now, finally, sir, I want to ask some questions. These were just observations. 20 seconds. I will in 20 seconds. My question is, do we have an halal certification authority in Nigeria?
No, we don't.
If we do, what is the process that you can follow through getting this particular certification? And three, are halal products supposed to be taxable? If they are not taxable, how can you reconcile the position with the new Tax Reforms Act of 2025? Because that will definitely is going to amount to double taxation if they are taxable, and you have to pay under the Tax Reforms Act 2025. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I believe the lead speaker and the discussant are taking note of these questions. Shall we take 3 more questions, please, due to the time, because we don't want to run into Maghrib prayer time. So let me take one here, and one here. Please identify yourself and where you come from. The one, okay, Latin advocate. Okay, sorry, Mike. Okay.
I don't know whether you want to add another title to me. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
My question is.
Assalam.
Anna da makarfa ba.
Malaska is a Kaji from Jigawa. Yes. Kaji Laminu. Kaji Laminu from Jigawa. Kaji, can you be audible so that we can proceed because of this? Oh, zai iya yi da abin nan ko sai mun jira.
Wallahi ba muryar haja.
Yawwa.
No, what, micro?
Okay, yes, we can proceed. Kadi.
My name is Ahmad Muhammad Lamin from Sharia Appeal, Jigawa State, Kadi. Due to time constraint, maybe I will go straight to the question. I had some comment to make, but I will just restrict myself to the question. The discussant, Professor Abikan, cited a principle of usul, which says al-asl fil ashya al-ibaha. So, taking into this consideration, this principle and other verses of the Quran, and everything, how do we avoid unnecessary, excessive legalism in the issue of this halal strategy? I don't know whether I get my question. Excessive legalism, the fact that everything is mubah from the general surface of it. So how do we avoid excessive legalism in everything? So we want to legalize everything. I don't know if I'm making sense. Oh my, the prof is getting my question.
Yes.
This is my.
Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, at the center. Give him the mic. Okay.
Is one from Maiduguri. So, my own is that last year in MULAN, we have discussed a lot, and here we are. The fundamental problem I will observe, this paper has been presented very well. The discussants have discussed the paper. The question now arises as to whether we are theoretically oriented or practical. We will discuss always issues. We will discuss it today. If care is not taken next year, we shall be discussing another issue. This one is only there in theory, in the paper. Certainly, this is the fundamental problem that always I have it in mind. So, the whole discussion, whatever we are doing, we need to look at al-maqasid al-sharia, the intendment of sharia, whatever, and certainly